this week I'm going to be taking the decision completely out of my hands, and I'm going to be letting a spinner wheel decide how long I read for. I don't know what possessed me to do this. I have a bunch of books that I want to get through, and I don't really know what I want to read, so I figured that I could just free for all it. We'll see how many books I can get read this week. I'm going to be completely at the spinner wheel's mercy. I have created a wheel, and it goes from 1 hour to, I believe, 6 hours. I wanted to kind of make it reasonable for me because of work. I do have to go to work for 9 hours a day, so that only leaves me a limited amount of home time to read. Sometimes at work I can read, sometimes at work I can't, so I felt like 6 hours was probably the maximum I would be able to read on a work day. And since this is completely random, I don't get to pick 6 hours on the weekend. I just get what I get. Today is Thursday, so we're gonna be spinning the wheel tonight for me to start tomorrow. I want a full day. I want to start on a Friday. I want to have plenty of time to read in case this sucker lands on a 6, because I am so scared. I'm excited. I want to know what I'm gonna get. But like, if I only get 1 hour, can I read for more than 1 hour? I think I can. I think I'm gonna let myself go over, but I'm not gonna be able to roll like the additional time over. So if I get 1 hour and I read for 3, I can't use 2 of those hours toward the next day. However, if I get 5 hours and I read for 3, I need to add 2 hours to the next day. That just seems like it makes the most sense to me, and make sure that I'm at least reading what the timer gives me, but I'm not gonna cut myself off at an hour if I want to read more. That makes sense. That makes sense in my brain. I think we're gonna go with that. So, let me pull up the wheel. We're gonna see what we get. I'm really scared. I don't know how this is gonna go. Okay, can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, let's do our first spin. That says 5. That says 5 hours. Okay, we're gonna go big or go home on day 1, and I'm going to be reading for 5 hours tomorrow. I'm a little nervous. I do have a few things that I have to do tomorrow. It is my half day, so we've got that working for us. I'm gonna be at work for an hour before anyone bothers me, so we've got that working for us. Okay, well, I will see you tomorrow bright and early to get started on our 5 hours of reading.
Good morning, friends. It's Friday, which means the 5-hour timer is about to start. I'm getting it pulled up. We are about to hit go on today. So I am going to start an audiobook this morning. If I can get a hold of the ebook, we'll continue with it. If not, we'll just mix it up. But I am going to start Immortal Dark. This is a book that I have had my eye on since I heard it announced, and it is vampires, which is absolutely perfect for the fall season, and I'm just ready to like start getting in the spooky mood. I've heard good things about it. I've heard everyone talking about it, so I am just ready to see what all of the hype is about. I'm so excited. But this is gonna be the kind of morning, it's 6:30 in the morning. It's gonna be a coffee morning. So I am gonna go to Mudslingers. I am going to get one of their new specials, and I'm gonna go with the Milky Way this morning. It just sounds good. I've been drinking a lot of pumpkin, and I think I want to switch it up a little bit. So we're going to go with the Milky Way latte this morning, and I'm going to get this timer started.
Hachette Audio presents Immortal Dark.
Morning. Can I do the Milky Way mocha sugar-free? We are now 2 hours into this challenge. I have got 3 hours of reading left to go, but I have made it a quarter of the way into Immortal Dark, and so I want to give you guys a quick update on this. I have mixed feelings. This is a very slow, gothic, methodical type story, and it's not what I was expecting it to be. I'm not really sure what I was expecting, but more like quintessential vampire, less revenge teenager. I don't really know how to describe this, but this is a world where there are these vampires that have now gotten 3 rules attached to them in order to keep them from just rampaging and killing everyone. One of those 3 rules is that they can only feed from one certain family. And so Keaton and her sister are a part of this family. They were taken away by their aunt several years ago and sent into hiding so that they did not have to feed the vampires any longer. One day her sister turns up missing, and so now she is on the hunt to find out what happened to June. afternoon, and she's pretty sure that the vampire that feeds off of her family has stolen her sister, and she is determined to prove it. She's given the opportunity to go to this elite school. Sorry, you can probably hear Wilder having the time of his life in the background back here, where she is going to try to prove that he took her sister and find her sister. The further we get into this, the more that I am liking this. I did get a ARC copy of the audiobook from Libro, and I think that that may be part of the problem because this book feels like it's moving so slowly. I just don't really feel like a lot is going on. More things are starting to happen. I will give you that things are starting to pick up a little bit, but I just feel like not a whole lot has happened other than her saying over and over and over again how much she hates the vampires, how much she's going to prove this guy took her sister, what happened to her sister, but that's all we're really hearing over and over and over again. Also, I feel like the side characters just don't really have a lot of depth right now to me. She has a decent amount, but her entire personality is finding her sister and being very stabby about it, which is fine, but I just wish there was a little bit more nuance going on here. Young adult can read one of two ways. It can either be very like watered down, or I find that it can have a lot of really good discussions. But at the moment, I feel like it's a little bit watered down. I'm hoping that will change. I really am, because this is a book that I was so highly anticipating, and hopefully it just needed some time to find its footing, because I do believe this is a debut author, and I can see the promise. I can see the potential lurking in there. Keaton has the potential to be this revengeful girl that just wants someone to listen to her, and I just think it's not quite coming across that way, but I feel like that's what we're trying to get across, is that no one listens to the black girl and it's just automatically her fault, but if someone would listen to her, she could find her sister, and I like that aspect of this a lot. I just want it to come across a little bit more nuanced and clear in the text itself. But we have 3 more hours to go. Honestly, that's gonna probably get me through this entire book. It was about a 5-hour audiobook, so I think I can finish this today, and then we will be doing a spin for tomorrow to see if the wheel hates me once again and I'm gonna be reading for 5 or 6 hours. We have 2 hours left for today, and I am losing steam. It's only 7:30, but I've been up since 5 a.m., so that feels like a very long time ago. We have moved to bed to hopefully get a little bit more done. I would like to at least get 4 hours done so that I only have to roll 1 hour over into tomorrow, because my luck, I'm gonna get like a 6-hour time, and I don't have 7 hours to read tomorrow. We have football tomorrow. But I am halfway now into Immortal Dark, and I'm liking this better at halfway. They are interacting more, and I absolutely am starting to see the Cruel Prince comparisons. Normally when you have this meets this, you don't get the comparisons, and right now I get the comparisons, especially to Cruel Prince. It has a bully aspect to it that I'm kind of vibing with, kind of having a good time with. She is definitely giving me Not Like Other Girls vibes sometimes, but I do appreciate her spunk, and it makes for some really good snark, so I am having a good time with that, and with him and his like telling her to beg him, yes please. But other than that, I am still finding the plot to be moving a little bit slow. It's definitely focusing a lot on the atmosphere, and sometimes I just wish that we were moving forward a little bit quicker. I think it's going to end up being a touch too long for me, but I'm having a good time with the bully aspect. I'm liking their interactions together, which is a huge selling point for me. So if you can do that right, then I am usually pretty easy to please. I have no more thoughts, but it is getting late and I have 45 minutes left, and it's very possible that I will roll these over into tomorrow, and we'll do a spin when I'm a little bit more awake to find out how many hours I'm going to be reading for tomorrow, but we're probably gonna have to add 45 minutes. I really just want to rot and watch Gilmore Girls until I fall asleep. So it is now Saturday morning, and I have finally finished my time from yesterday. So I have completed all of the 5 hours. I'm not quite done with Immortal Dark. I had to slow down the audiobook just a little bit, so I have about an hour, hour and a half of that left. Before I continued listening though, I did want to do another spin, find out how many hours I needed to be reading for today, because it could be 1, it could be 7, and if it's 7, I'm already behind. So we are going to pull up the spinner wheel, see what I get, and then once I have completed Immortal Dark, we'll come back and we'll talk about that. Wish me luck. 2.5 hours is really not bad. It ended up being 3.5 hours because I had to add an hour, but that's okay. 2.5 hours is not bad. I think I can do that. So I'm gonna use an hour to an hour and a half of that, finishing up Immortal Dark. Okay, so I have finished the Immortal Dark and I have an hour and 11 minutes left of today's reading. Immortal Dark. I have mixed-ish feelings on this. There were definitely parts that I felt like were a little bit too slow. Sometimes things felt like they weren't moving as smoothly as they could. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. It's a mix of Cruel Prince, which I think was more in like the middle half. We definitely lost our Cruel Prince bully vibes a little bit as we continued on, but I still liked the two of them together, so that was fine. It has a little bit of a murder mystery to it. There's a school setting in here, so it definitely gives perfect fall vibes. It moves a little slow at times, but in the second half, I feel like things definitely picked up a lot faster. I started to understand the relationship dynamics and things between the characters a little bit better. So I think I'm gonna end up giving this a 4-star. That's my thought at the moment. I am still a little mixed on it, so that could end up changing, but currently that's kind of the gut reaction that I've got. But I did enjoy this one. I would recommend this for the fall. I would recommend this if you're looking for a little bit of a different take on vampires. I like the rules and kind of the plot thread that we had throughout this. It does take a little while to get through being in Keaton's head. She can be kind of difficult at times because it's like, why are you doing this? Why? Some of her logic just doesn't make a lot of sense and can be extremely frustrating. She reminds me a little bit of Diem in that way from Spark of the Everflame, but I'm hoping that it feels like it did with Diem and she starts to grow and develop as things move along, which I think that she did for the most part throughout this book. So I'm glad that I read this. I will be continuing on in the series. And then I did start a little bit of The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. This is one of the new Red Tower books that has gorgeous edges and is a new adult romantasy, but make it Percy Jackson. And I'm having a really good time with the beginning of this so far. The banter is really good. The setting is interesting. The writing is just easy. It's not really great prose. It's not purpley prose. It's just very straightforward and kind of turn your brain off writing, which I think I'm gonna really like in this type of story. We're set in the modern world where gods are essentially ruling the world and everybody has like different pantheons that they worship. And apparently every so often, I don't know if it's every year or not, I can't remember honestly. I'm sure they said, but I just don't remember. The gods have a tournament, they pick a champion and they have a tournament for the humans to help them choose who's going to be the god that rules over the entire pantheon for the rest of that time. And we have, what is her name? I've forgotten her name already. Oh, lovely, it doesn't tell me. I don't remember her name, but our female main character, her mother's water broke in Zeus's temple and he decided to curse her with never being loved. She can love, but people can't love her in return. They can like her, they can appreciate her, but they can't love her. And she is determined to take down Zeus and get rid of this curse when she meets Hades, who gives her the opportunity to do so. It says she'll fight for her life for the god of death. And their dynamic so far has been really fun. There hasn't been a ton of interaction between the two of them, but what we've had, I like. She's very spunky and it definitely reads young adult. I think this is supposed to be more of a new adult to adult, but it reads on like the lower end of new adult, upper end of YA. It does not have an audiobook currently, so this is what's on the docket next. I will be physically reading this one. If you guys are curious about kitty updates though, we have been out the entire day together, all 3 of them, no harnesses, no leashes. And so far, knock on wood, things are going okay. So fingers crossed for me that things continue to go well because I really want some symbiotic moments in this household, but we're doing well. Wilder loves Ollie. He thinks that he's great. He really wants to get to know Bryn and Bryn is like, not quite there yet, friend. But she's tolerating him. She's allowing him in the room. She's allowing him in her vicinity. She just doesn't want him right on top of her, which fair. That is the update on Kitty in case you watched last week's vlog and were curious how it was going. I need to read for an hour more. We do have Discovery of Witches tonight, so it may be a little while before I get to finish my reading, but I'm excited to pick back up The Games Gods Play. It's time for me to get ready for bed. I have 40 minutes left of my timer for today and I'm gonna lay in bed and read a little bit more of The Games Gods Play. I am halfway through this so far and I'm still having a good time with it. The labors and the action scenes are very Hunger Games-esque while not feeling like a direct replica of the Hunger Games, but those scenes just kind of fly by. They are super fast-paced, a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying kind of seeing how Lyra is working through things and how she's figuring everything out. I think that we need a little bit more more like interaction between her and Hades though. They really aren't interacting as much as I would like, because I enjoy their interactions and I enjoy the snark and the sniping, but they just don't really seem to have a lot of page time together. The labors are taking up a huge amount of the page count, and then we're having little scenes of them in between, but I'm just not getting enough of them and I want more of them. With that being said, I do feel like the character development in general, especially in the side characters, could be a little bit better, because we're being introduced to all of the other champions, we're being introduced to people in the underworld, but I just don't feel like in those interactions I'm really learning much about those characters, and so I don't care about them when something happens to them. The champions can die and there are things happening that should have big impact, but unfortunately because of kind of the way that she's interacting with them on page, we don't know a lot about them, and so I feel like I don't care as much as I could, but I am having fun with this. It's definitely like a super fast-paced story that I am enjoying, so I'm gonna lay in bed, read a little bit more of it. I should be able to finish this tomorrow, but in the morning we'll touch base. We'll see how many hours I'm gonna have to read, because so far we've been relatively nice with the wheel, which means I just know that a really long day is coming up.
Good morning, everyone. I did stay up last night and finished the last 40 minutes of my reading time, and I got to a very, very, very good scene. The obstacle course scene, so good. Anyway, it's a new day, which means we need to spend for more time. It is a work day, it is Monday, so let's see how many hours we're gonna get. I'm crossing my fingers for like 3 or less, because that seems manageable on a work day. So let's find out what we're gonna get. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Alright, well, take what I said I wanted and double it. Crap. This could be challenging. This could be challenging. So I need an audiobook. There's no way that I get through 6 hours of reading without an audiobook. So I think I'm gonna go with Ghost Camera. Most of Darcy Coates' audiobooks are on Everand, and this is one that I've really been wanting to read. It's her newest / not newest, it's a republish of one of her older like novellas. It's a longer novella. I think the audiobook's about 3 hours long, but I want to say it has some short stories in the back. So anyway, I think I'm gonna listen to that. It's about a girl that takes pictures with her camera and catches a ghost, and now the ghost is haunting her, I think. Sounds perfect. I love Darcy, so I think this will be like a great just listen vibe, and hopefully it won't seem like I'm reading for 6 hours. Well, I'm sitting at a red light because I'm almost at work, and I just want to tell you that I have finished Ghost Camera already. That was a short like novella / short story. I only got to 5 hours left of my timer, so I still have a long way to go. Probably will need another audiobook because the Games God Play does not have an audiobook out yet. I liked this one. I thought that it started a little bit too quick, but considering how short it was, I think that it was fine, and it was interesting. It was fun. It still has the quintessential Darcy like cozy vibes to it. It feels like her, and I liked the author's note at the beginning where she tells you about how this is the first story that she ever wrote and published, and how she feels about her older story. So I think I'm gonna give this one a 4-star. It was fun, and I'm glad that I read it. I wish it had been a little bit longer and a little bit more drawn out, but I feel that way about a lot of Darcy stories, so that's not anything new. So I'm gonna go into work. I don't know what I'm gonna be reading on the way home, but we'll figure that out later. We are making progress in my 6 hours of reading. I currently have an hour and 23 minutes left of reading time for today, and I have managed to finish the Games Gods Play. I think I'm going to give this one a 4-star. This book is a lot of fun. It's fast-paced, it has great action scenes, it's got characters to root for, lots going on, and I think that it is done really well. There are a couple of things that I did have a few problems with, but overall, I still think that this is a great time. I will absolutely be recommending it for people that just want something fun and engaging, fast-paced. The world is relatively well established, although it is pulling from things that you already know, so I wouldn't say that it's overly creative, but it's fun. I really liked the trials aspect to it. I thought that those were well done. The like scenes made sense, they flowed well, but not only that, they were just interesting to read about, and I was rooting for Lyra, and I liked that there were stakes to this, so it wasn't just everybody's gonna come out and be okay. There were a few things where I was like, man, that could have been a little bit higher stakes, but overall, I think that it was done well. I liked Lyra or Lyra, however you say her name, and Hades' relationship. I just wish that there had been a little bit more page time with them to get to know them as a couple a little bit better, kept the banter going for just a little bit longer because I felt like that was a tad too short for me. Lyra is definitely not... Like, she's a very trusting character, which at times could be really frustrating because it's like, girl, these people have given you no reason to trust them. They've given you no reason to want to help them, but that's just who she was as a character. So it was very true to who she was, but I won't say that she changed a lot over the course of the story. It does end on a bit of a cliffhanger, but I'm excited to continue. I think the sequel is also going to be a lot of fun, probably pretty different from this one based on the way it ended, but not necessarily in a bad way. I have no idea when it's coming out because this just came out, but I'm looking forward to it. With that being said, I do still need to continue reading. So I started Broken Bonds on the way home, and let me give you guys some backstory on the Broken Bonds. I started this one, got about 15% of the way in back in February, and was not in the mood for it. I was burnt out. It was 72 hours in the reading nook. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm bored. I don't want to read this. So I decided, okay, everybody's enjoying it. Everybody's talking about how much fun it is, what a good time it is, and I kind of want a no-brain book right now, so I'm going to try it again. So far, I'm further in. I'm about 20% of the way in now, and I am liking it better than I did before. It's definitely a no-brain, just need to vibe with it kind of book, but I'm currently in the headspace to just want to vibe with it. So fingers crossed that it stays that way. I will say not a lot is happening, and it does feel very repetitive, so those feelings haven't changed, but they're bothering me less than they did last time because I think maybe I like the bully romance side of things a little bit more too. So anyway, I'm having fun with it. It's following Ollie. When something happened to her parents, she has some kind of power and we don't know what it is. We just know that she does not want it unleashed on the world. And in this world, you are... I don't know what they are. They're not human. She does mention that at one point, and you know, the world building is a little not great, but they're not human and they have bonds. And when you sleep with one of your bonds, then your power grows. Now, sometimes these will create around a central bond and they'll have like a love type relationship. Other times they don't. It's just a transaction kind of thing. Nobody can force you into it, but her bonds are determined to get their way. And she has, I believe, 5 of them. I'm not exactly sure how many, but she has a lot. So I'm curious to see what the like centralized plot's gonna be, because right now she's just kind of gone back to them. They're ticked at her for running away. She's ticked at them for bringing her back. We don't know about her power, and she's out of school. That's all I have right now, and I'm curious what else is going to happen, but I've heard these are like candy, just vibe and read, and so I'm just ready to turn my brain off and to have a good time. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to do that for the next hour and a half. I will probably get pretty close to finishing Broken Bonds though, because I listened on my way home from work and it's not a very long book at all. So once I'm done with my time, I'll check back in and we'll find out how long I'm going to be reading for Tuesday.
Close to me the whole time. I started thinking her apology was just a smokescreen. She's about to throw a punch at me while I'm standing around in my underwear. But then she takes a deep breath the second the locker room door swings shut. Holy shit, I honestly thought I was about to have my life ruined by Shore's entire tactic for throwing you off. I swear to you, I didn't mean to do that. I have no idea.
Good morning. It is time for another spin. I did finish last night. Well, I didn't finish the book, but I finished my 6 hours and I'm very, very proud of myself for that. But I do still have about an hour left of Broken Bonds. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. But let's see for how long I'm going to be doing that today. So no, 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 no. Oh, 5 hours. 5 hours again. Today is going to be another long day of reading. Okay, we've got absolute craziness going on in this house tonight. Wilder and Ollie are chasing each other around the house. I don't know if they're trying to kill each other or play. I have no idea, but we're gonna try to get through this clip. This morning I finished Broken Bonds and I gave it a 3-star. I still had similar-ish problems to what I had with it before, mostly just being a little bit repetitive and wishing that there was more going on, whether that be plot or the guys or whatever that would be. But as we continued on, we definitely got more of that. We learned more about Ollie, we got to see certain things, and we got to know more about the guys in general, and I had fun. So this is definitely just a vibe and enjoy kind of book. It does have similar vibes to like Zodiac Academy, although they're very different stories. So I think I'm going to continue. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Is it a new favorite? Not right now, but I enjoyed it. I think that I'm going to love just kind of binging through this series, maybe reading it in between other things is a good palate cleanser. And I will say that Jabree's writing is oddly addictive, so it just is so easy to breeze through. after I finished that, I decided to start Till Death, and I'm about 25% of the way into it so far. I have such mixed feelings about this book. It's following Day, and she is the Maiden of Death. There can only be one Maiden of Death at a time, and they are the only people that can kill. In this world, there were gods that basically forsook the lands, and Death decided that he would give them all a boon. He would allow them to live for 100 years, and the only way that they would die in the interim is if his maiden killed them. However, there's also a life maiden, and it's her job to help the fertility, to heal illnesses, that kind of thing, except for the life maiden is currently missing. Day accidentally gets tricked into marrying the wrong guy, and now she's trying to find the life maiden while also dealing with the consequences and the fallout from that. So I think that the relationship between Day and our love interest is hilarious. Like, the banter between them is great. I'm loving the vibes between them. I think that they have really good chemistry. I like Day as a character. I think that she's really interesting. I love the like Maiden of Death vibes and what that means and how that impacts the world and how cutthroat she is, but how this isn't something that she chose. It's something that she always had to be. She kind of resents that. I think that she's a really cool character and I love their banter, but I am having a lot of issues with the world building mostly. It just feels like there's a lot of holes in that in the plot. Some of the motivations don't really make sense to me. Things will happen and I'm like, wait, how did we get from point A to point B? Like, why did this happen? What were the thoughts here? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Where were the repercussions? I don't know. I don't know if it's me and I missed it while listening to the audiobook. It's possible, but there's been a lot of different things where I'm like, wait, why? The maestro and like the burlesque side of things, yes, there is a burlesque, but I want to know more about like his motivations. Why does he want her? Why was the king scared of him? Why does he want all of this power? Why a burlesque? Like, I just feel like we're not getting a lot of information. Why did the guy want to marry her? Why did she fall for it? I just need a little bit more. I have a lot of whys, and I don't know, like I said, if I missed the whys or if maybe they just didn't happen or if they're coming. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to continue reading because, like I said, I am having fun with it. The writing is pretty good overall, although I do feel like sometimes we're jumping around some and I want the plot to kind of settle. It feels like right now we don't really know what we want to be doing. We don't really know where we're trying to lead to. We have different scenes that kind of feel like they were just dropped in and not actually pertaining to the story overall. And so I just need all of that to kind of settle down, and whether or not the relationship can just make me ignore all of that, because right now it is kind of bothering me, but at the same time I like the relationship, and so I'm trying my best to just kind of vibe and overlook it. So far I'm doing a pretty good job. I'm still having a lot of fun, but we'll see. So I have about 2 hours left of reading time for tonight. I am going to go watch Dancing with the Stars, I think, and do a little bit more listening / ebook reading. The audiobook for this one is really good. It has multiple narrators, so if you're the type of person that doesn't like the guy voice interjecting while she's like thinking, talking, kind of like Butcher and Blackbird, then you may not like this. I don't love the music at the beginning of the chapter, but you know, that is what it is. But I do think the narration is well done overall. I'm enjoying just kind of kicking back, listening to the audiobook, watching some dance, and I'll check back in with you guys once the 2 hours are up, see how far we got, and then maybe I will finish in time tonight to actually spend for my time tomorrow. Okay. My time is up. I have managed to get through the 5 hours for today. So, okay, here's to fingers crossing that tomorrow is a little bit of an easier day, because we have gotten so many long days, I feel like, and I've gotten a lot done. Don't get me wrong, it's been extremely productive, but my eyeballs are starting to hurt. So I don't really have a whole lot more thoughts on Till Death so far. I am halfway in, and honestly, I'm trying to be like the critical reader that's like, there's so many plot holes, but at the same time, there's something about the story that I'm really enjoying. I like the character moments. I'm still really liking their relationships. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So let me pull up our wheel and let's see what tomorrow holds. No. Oh, God. Ugh. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Okay, we'll try. We'll try to do it. That's the maximum time. Like, I thought, look at how close that is to landing on the 1. Like, I thought I was going to get so lucky and we were going to have 1 hour we had to read tomorrow. But no. We have to read for 7. Okay. Okay. So, I do have to work tomorrow. Thankfully, it is the long drive day, so hopefully I can at least get 2 hours done on the way to and from work. If I can get like a solid maybe 2 hours done at work, then that gives me 3 or 4 hours when I get home. So like, it's fine, right? Maybe. We'll see. I should easily be able to get Till Death finished tomorrow though. But I'm making coffee. I have a helper and I really wish he would get off the counters. I need to do a spin. I am gonna have to roll over 2 hours from yesterday. I am starting to feel the burn and got very, very tired and just I could not finish my last 2 hours. I am enjoying my book though. I'm having a really good time with Fear of the Flames. I'm about 20% in and I'm loving the banter. There's definitely some cheesy writing moments, but overall it's been fun. The plot hasn't really kicked off yet, so I don't have a whole lot to tell you, but the banter between them is great so far. So let's do a spin. If there's anything like over 3 hours, I think I might cry, but other than that, we should be good. Okay, so we got an hour and a half this morning, so it'll be 3.5 hours total, but after the 7 hours yesterday, that feels very manageable. It is lunch break, and I have actually managed to get a decent amount of reading done. I got to work early this morning. It was my early treatment day, and because of that, I had like an hour of uninterrupted reading time, and I am now down to 2 hours and 15 minutes on my timer. We started with 3.5. We're getting there. I'm now halfway through Fear the Flames, and I'm having a really fun time with this. This is about Eowyn, and the prologue enters with her being born and realizing that she is one of the princesses that is going to be able to be bonded to dragons. The dragon eggs were so old at the point that she was born, they never thought that they would hatch, but when they brought them to her bedside, the eggs hatched and she was bonded to dragons. But as things went on, people became terrified of the dragons and they tore them away from her, locked them up, and then tried everything that they could to try to break her bond with the dragons by torturing her, withholding food, like whatever they could do, magic. And so she has run away and is now hiding in a different kingdom when the king's general of a neighboring kingdom finds her and offers her help in rescuing her dragons if she will then use those dragons to help secure their throne. The banter in this is great. I'm having a lot of fun with like their back and forth. I think that is extremely well done. There are times when the writing does feel a little bit clunky where we're like overtelling things. Something will happen and we're told to that as the reader through her head, but then she verbalizes the same thing. So I really think that some of that could be probably tightened up a little bit. I don't need you to tell me every little bitty thing, and some of that didn't need to be relayed to other characters either. It's just some of it's very repetitive, but it's not constant, and otherwise I am really enjoying the story. I'm excited for things to start picking up. We just had a scene that I really enjoyed where we got to see the dragons. I won't tell you anything else beyond that, but it was really well done. I like their relationship, and I'm just flying through this and having a really good time. It reads so fast. I don't love the audiobook. The female narrator is good, she's fine, but her voice for the male character is not great, and it bugs me whenever he talks, and I want to love him. I don't want to be bugged when he talks. So I'm reading most of this on my ebook. I do have the Waterstones edition coming because I didn't love the US cover. I like the actual older indie cover a lot better, but it's not going to be here in time for this vlog. So we downloaded the ebook. We're listening on Spotify. I think I'm going to be able to finish this within the time frame of our timer today. I may finish it a little bit early. Honestly, if I do, I'm probably going to be done reading, but otherwise we will even go over if we have to, but I am finishing this book today.
And that's it. That is a wrap on the spinner wheel chooses how long I read for. I have now finished Fear the Flames. I did not quite make it to the whole, what was it, 3.5 hours, but I did finish the book, and so I didn't have much time left. I had like half an hour, not long enough to start or finish another book. So we're just going to consider that a win. And I think I'm going to give Fear the Flames a 3 to a 3.5 star. The banter in this book, 5 stars. The relationship in this book, solid 4 star. The plot pacing of the book, 3 star. So unfortunately, I think that it's going to just come out to a 3 star. The banter was just great. It had me laughing and snorting, and I was having a great time with their sniping. But in the end, I felt like the pacing could have been a little bit better. This one was republished from a self-pub into a traditional publish. I know she changed a lot of things, but I still don't feel like it improved the pacing from what I understand. I have not read the self-published version, but it just felt like not a whole lot happened for most of the book. I know that there was a heist, and that was kind of the whole plot of the thing, to save her dragons, but that didn't come in until like the last third of the book, and it was a very short period of time. The beginning was more focused on setting things up and signing this treaty, but it really didn't need to be drawn out as long as it was. And if it was going to be drawn out that long, I wanted to see more of their relationship. I also felt like Eowyn, I kept being told over and over again that she was this stabby, feisty character, but I didn't really see that. She felt very cinnamon roll-esque until a particular scene in the book, and then she went hard. But I just kind of wanted more development and more of that relationship to go if we were going to make the plot as slow as it was. So I think that it's going to be a 3 star. Some of the writing was a little clunky for me as well. However, this book has a lot of promise, and I think that the second book in the series could end up being something that is like 5-star feels amazing. So I'm really, really hoping, and I am excited for book 2. I cannot believe that we have read like 2,600 pages, I think, when I counted it. So much reading was done this week. I got through so many books, and we found a couple of really good wins. So I think that I'm going to consider this a resounding success, even though I had to roll over time on a few more days than I would have liked to. If you want to see more reading vlogs and challenges, I will leave the playlist here. If you just want to let me know that you were here and hanging out, please leave me a time, spinner wheel, some kind of time emoji down in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching, hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!